Have you been looking for the perfect gift that you can make dozens of in one day? Well, look no further than these fingerless gloves that feature this really cute braided cable design. I also want to show you some of the gifts that I recently got. Starting off strong with the Alessa earrings. Now this quilted hoop comes in two sizes, medium and large. Now this is the medium, and I got this one for my sister because she's been wanting an everyday gold huggy. This one fits the look and the budget. Then we have the Leo necklace. I love the design of this. I have the shorter one and I think it's equally as cute, but I just think this longer one is going to look much better on a guy. So still trying to figure out who to give this one to. Now this one is for my bestie. The Gaia is low-key and light enough to never take off. And these little cubic zirconia accents with the diamond-shaped pieces are so pretty to look at. Saving the best for last, because this one has been my current favorite. You can wear this one as one hoop or both hoops. You can just take this off and remove this one. It all depends on your mood. I think it's super pretty. I personally love this pure gold look, but it also comes in two-tone gold and silver for those of you who can't decide which one they like more. I am honestly gonna keep this one for myself because I just love it that much. So if you have been looking for those perfect gifts, look no longer and keep watching to see how I made these fingerless cabled gloves. And click on my description box below to see all of Ana Luisa's jewelry pieces. Their biggest sale is happening right now, up to 35% off, so don't wait to get those perfect gifts for yourself or for that someone. So I made this fingerless glove using weight 4 acrylic yarn, and I use a 4mm hook. So I've already completed my first one here, so I will show you how to make the other one. Okay, so starting with your yarn, you're going to make a chain length that is long enough to fit the width of your hand and go around the other way. This is going to be the closing of our glove. So you're going to make a chain that is as wide as your hand. So if you look at this that I made, it's as wide as my hand, just like this. And for me, I created a total of 32 chains, but that might vary depending on how wide or how narrow your hand is. Just make a chain length long enough to go around the width of your hand. Okay, so I want to show you the chain length that I made, and if I check it against my hand, it will fit my hand perfectly, just like this. So you're going to want to do the same with yours. Now from here, you are going to chain 1. And then in the second chain from your hook, you're going to place a single crochet, and you're going to go all along the length of your chain by placing one single crochet in each chain. At the end of row 1, you should have something that looks like this. It's just a row of single crochets. And now let's go to row 2. So for row 2, you are going to chain up 2, you're going to flip your work, and you are going to be placing a double crochet into every single stitch. So go ahead and complete your double crochets until you get to the very end of this row. At the end of row 2, you should have something that looks like this. So now let's begin row 3. So for row 3, you are going to chain up 1 and flip your work, and you will be placing a half double crochet into every single stitch. So go ahead and place a half double crochet in every single stitch until you reach the end of row 3. After you've finished row 3, you should have something that looks like this. So now let's move on to row 4. So for row 4, you are going to chain up 1 and flip your work, and in the first 2 stitches you will be placing a half double crochet. Now row 4 is where our cables begin. So you are first going to start with two treble crochets. So you're going to yarn over 2 times, and you are going to find the third double crochet from 2 previous rows ago. So you're going to skip this one because this is not a double crochet, this was a turning chain. So you're going to find 1, 2, and 3, and in that third one you're going to complete your front post treble. So after yarning over twice, you are going to find that post, you're going to sink your hook behind it like this, and you're going to come back up the top on the other side, grab your yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So there's your first treble crochet, and then you're going to do the same one into this next post. So again, yarn over twice and complete your treble crochet. Every time you do a pair of treble crochets, you are going to go into this row that you are working on in the top right here, and you're going to half double crochet into the third chain. So you're going to count from the last one that you placed a stitch into. So you're going to count 1, 2, and 3. So that means in this third one you are going to be placing a half double crochet. So now we are going to be making front post double treble crochets. So for a front post double treble, you are going to yarn over 3 times, and then you're going to count the 5th post away from the previous one you just worked on. So counting from this, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this 5th post you're going to again sink your hook behind it and come back up the top, and you're going to complete that front post double treble. So you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, just like that. You're going to do the same thing into the post immediately after. So you are going to yarn over 3 times again, and into this post right after you're going to complete that front post double treble crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, just like that. So now that you've completed a pair of, again, treble crochets, you are going to have to place a half double crochet into the row on the top. So counting from the last stitch over here, you're going to count 1, 2, and 3, and into this third one you're going to be placing your half double crochet. So because you counted 5 posts away to start this first one right here, we're now going to backtrack and put 2 double treble crochets in posts 3 and 4. So again, for a double treble, you yarn over 3 times, and you're going to come back to this third one right here that you skipped, and you're going to come up behind that post and up the front again like this, and you're going to complete that double treble. Just like that. So you can see it's starting to crisscross already. And now you're going to go into this 4th one, which is right in the middle, right here. And you're going to do 1 more double treble. So yarn over 3 times, go into the back, come up the front, grab the yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, just like that. So now again that you've done 2 trebles, you're going to have to go into the row on the top and put a half double crochet. So you're going to count 3 chains away again. So starting from the last one, you're going to count 1, 2, and 3. So into this third one, place a half double crochet. Now you're going to do 2 treble crochets. So you're just going to yarn over twice, and you're only going to count 2 posts away from this last one here. So you're going to count 1 and 2, and into the second one is where we will be placing our first treble, just like that. So you see you skipped 1 post here. Now do the same thing again into the post immediately after, so yarn over twice and complete that treble crochet, just like this. Again, now that you've just done 2, that means you're going to have to put a half double crochet in the 3rd chain in the back. So again, look at your back right here and count 1, 2, 3, and in that third one, place a half double crochet. Now you're just going to skip one post again right here, and into the two immediately after the skipped post, you're going to do a pair of treble crochets again. So yarn over twice, skip one post into the second one with a treble, and then into the next one with another treble. Okay, and since you've done two trebles like that, again go into the back and place a half double crochet in the third stitch. There you go. And that completes the braided portion. So that means for the rest of this row, you're just going to continue to go along with half double crochets. So complete this row with half double crochets. No more cables, because this part of the pattern where it's just half double crochets in the front is going to be the part of our mitts where our palms are, and then the braided portion is just where the top of our hand is. So go ahead and just complete row 4 by placing a half double crochet until the very end of that row. Okay, so now row 4 should look like something like this. So you can see you've started the cable portion. Okay, so now that you've completed row 4, let's move on to row 5. So row 5, you're just going to chain up 1, and you're going to flip your work, and every time you do a row of cables in the front, every time you make your way back to that side, because this is going to be the back side of the project, every time you make your way towards the back, it's always just going to be a row of half double crochets. So again, every time you complete a row of cables in the front, when you turn around, you're just going to make your way with half double crochets all the way across. So just complete your half double crochets until the end of row 5. Okay, so this is what the end of row 5 looks like. So make sure when you're making your way of half double crochets, you make sure to place one in each of those cables from the front. So you're still going to have the same amount of stitches, just make sure that when you're making your way across the cables, you're putting one into every single stitch that you see. Okay, so now that row 5 is done, let's move on to row 6. Okay, so for row 6, again, you're going to chain up 1 and flip your work. And when you're on the cable side, you're always going to start the cables with 2 half double crochets. So in the first 2 stitches, again, you're going to place a half double crochet. So that's 2 half doubles. Now you're coming up on your 2 first posts right here, and from now on the cables will be a lot easier because it's very visible into what posts will be going into, because they're popping out like this. So into these first 2, you're going to put a treble crochet each. So you're going to yarn over twice, and you're going to go right behind that post and complete the treble. Let's do it again. So yarn over twice, come up behind that post and into the front like this, and complete that treble. Let's do it again. Yarn over twice, come up behind the post, pull the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Again, like I said, every time you do a pair of trebles, you're going to have to go back into the row on the top and put a half double crochet in the third stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. So in that third one, place a half double crochet. Alright, so you see our crisscross right here. You're going to see these 2 posts that are behind the crisscross on the top. So they're going to be this post and this post. We're going to be working into those right now. So into those 2, you're going to put a treble crochet each. Again, for a treble, you only yarn over twice. You're going to go into that first post that's closest to you, go right underneath, grab it, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Let's do it again in the post right next to it, which is right here. We're not working on the post on the top, we're working on the ones behind it. So you're going to yarn over twice again for a treble, grab that yarn, come up beneath it, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay, again you just completed 2 trebles, so you're going to have to go in the back and place a half double in the third stitch. 1, 2, and 3 right here. Okay, so now we have these 2 posts, or these 2 sets to work with right here. We're going to work in this one right here first. We're going to skip these 2 for now, and we're going to do a double treble into these 2. So double treble, you yarn over 3 times again, go underneath the first post right there, grab your yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Let's do it again into the post right after it. So double treble, yarn over 3 times, pick up that post, grab the yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, just like that. Again, you just did 2, so you're going to have to go on the top and place a half double in the row. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. So right here. Okay, so now we're going to work into these 2 posts that we skipped right here. It's a little bit tricky because we're going to have to work underneath these 2 posts that we just created. So into these 2 we'll be placing double trebles. So again, you yarn over 3 times, but instead of going over like this, you're going to go underneath these 2 posts first, like this, and then you're going to go underneath this very first one that we skipped. So the one on the right, just like that, okay? And then if you kind of pull these 2 down, you can see what you're working with in the back. So you can kind of see it up here because I pulled it through, and then you would just complete your double treble. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So now you can see that it's coming up behind this one right here. So let's do it one more time into this last post. So you're going to double treble, so you yarn over 3 times, go behind these 2 posts. Here's our post right here in the back. So you're going to go underneath it like this and pick it up, and then just complete that double treble. There you go. So now, again, place a half double into the third chain. So here's that last one. 1, 2, and 3. Just like this. Alright, so now that you have these last 2 right here, you're just going to be placing a treble crochet. So you yarn over 2 times and place the first treble. Then yarn over twice again, and then place a treble onto the last one. There we go. And you just completed a pair, so that means you're going to have to do a half double crochet on the top. So 1, 2, and then into this third one, begin your half doubles. So that ends the cable portion of our mitt. So that means for the rest of this row, you will just be placing a half double into every single stitch. Okay, and that will complete row 6. So you can see the cables are starting to come in really nicely, and you can already kind of visualize it when you fold it in half like this. It's going to go over our hand like this. Or if you're working for this hand, then it would go like this. Okay, so now that row 6 is done, let's move on to row 7. And then for row 7, like I said last time, every time you finish a row of cables in the front, whenever you make your way back and you're working on the back side, you're always just going to chain up 1, and you're just going to be placing a half double crochet into every single stitch. So you always make your return passes with a half double crochet row. So nothing fancy about this row. This is just the back side. So go ahead and just work your way back with half doubles. Okay, so now that you complete row 7, it should just look something like this. Again, this is the back side. So now that row 7's done, let's move on to row 8. So chain up 1, flip your work, and then always start the cable rows with 2 half doubles in the beginning. 1 and 2, and then you're seeing your first 2 posts like this. So that means you're going to treble crochet into that. So treble crochet is yarn over twice. So make sure you place 1 treble in each of those posts. And then don't forget, when you finish a pair of trebles, you're always going to go in the back and place a half double in that 3rd stitch. So you're going to count 1, 2, and 3, which is this one right here. And you're going to place a half double right there. So now we are going to crisscross these 2 posts. So you can see in the previous row we crisscrossed these 2, so that means these 2 need to crisscross now. So you're going to do a double treble, so you yarn over 3 times, and you're going to skip these first 2 and you're going to work into this one right here. You're going to grab this first one closest to you and you're going to complete that double treble. And then double treble again into its pair, which is right here. Just like that. Now before you go into these 2, don't forget to make your half double crochet into that 3rd chain at the top, the 3rd stitch at the top. So now you can work into these 2. You don't have to go underneath this time. You can, now we're going to go on top. So again, double treble, so that means yarn over 3 times, and work on the one on the right first. So grab your post like that and complete your double treble. Okay, then you have one more right here, so another double treble into that post. Right, so you just completed a pair, so don't forget your half double crochet into that 3rd stitch at the top, like that. Now you have these 2 posts coming out here on the side, so don't forget about these 2 right here. So in these 2 right here, they're diagonal, but it's this one right here. You're gonna do treble crochets, so you just yarn over twice and always work on the one on the right first and complete the treble, and then do it again to its pair, like that. So you just completed 2, so that means you're going to do a half double crochet in the 3rd stitch at the top, and then you have your border trebles right here, so you're just going to do a double treble into each of them. Okay, so just like that. And then before you begin, or before you finish this row with your double trebles, make sure you start in the 3rd chain from the top. So there's that last one. You're going to count 1, 2, and 3. So into this 3rd one, you're going to place a double, and then you're just going to continue with your half double crochets all the way across. Okay, so that completes row 8. So now that means we're going to go to row 9. And again, if you remember the rule, after you do a row in the front, you're always just going to work your way back with a row of half double crochets. So row 9 is just your return pass, and it is just half double crochets all the way across. Okay, so at the end of row 9, the back of your project looks something like this. And then you're just going to chain up 1 and flip your work. Now at this point, the project just continues to repeat itself in terms of row. So what you're going to do is you are going to repeat rows 6 through 9. Okay, so you're just going to want to rewind the video or play it back, and then keep repeating rows 6 to 9 until you get the length that you want. There's a couple important notes here. So you have to make sure you end on either a row 6 or a row 8. And then when you make your return pass, which is going to be your final row of your mitt, you're not going to make a return pass with half double crochets. You're going to make a return pass of single crochets. So that's very important because that's going to end the project. So whether you end on a row 6 or an 8, make a return pass of just single crochets in the back, not half double crochets. And then if you want a little idea of how high or how tall you want your project to go, I'm going to put this glove on, and you're going to see that I made mine to the edge of my wrist, which is right here, to the beginning of my fingers, or maybe like close to my knuckles already. So you can see that I didn't make it too long because you're still going to add this cuffing at the end to make sure it's nice and tight on our wrist. But basically you can just keep repeating row 6 to 9 however long you want it. If you want it longer, go for it. If you want it shorter, then make it shorter. But this is what I did. I just went from my wrist to almost my middle knuckle, or yeah, my middle knuckles right here. And you can see it looks like this. So again, make it however tall, however short you want it. Just make sure you end on a row 6 or 8 and then finish with a return pass of single crochets and not half double crochets. And then once you finish that, I'm going to show you how to close it all up and make the cuff for our wrist. Alright, so I have completed the length that I want, and I did end on a braided row. And again, like I said, when I made my way back here, I made my way back with single crochets and not half double crochets. So then after you complete the portion, or after you complete this part, you're just going to chain up 1 and cut off this yarn, and then we'll just weave everything in later. Now what you're going to do is fold it in half. So this is the part that's going to go over your hand. So of course, if you're working on this hand, you're going to want to have it laying like this. But then if you're working on this hand, just flip it over and put it up like this. So that's important to remember when you're making your mitts. So for this one, I made the right hand because this is where the thumb hole is. So that's where my thumb is going to come out of. So that means I need to make this one according to my left hand. So instead of like this, I'm just going to flip it over and put it like this. Okay, so now that I have that, what I'm going to do is put my hand back in here. And I'm going to make sure this is up to my wrist like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the stitch where my thumb is going to come out of. So I'm going to leave space for my thumb here. I'm just going to take a stitch marker and I'm going to mark it to about right here. If you want to count stitches, you can, but I'm just going to eyeball mine and just put it at about right there. And then you're going to want to do the same thing for the bottom right here. So I'm going to say mine's going to come out to about right here. So I'm going to grab another stitch marker and just mark that. And so now that you have those two marked, you are going to fold your mitt inside out like this. Okay? And you are going to stitch these two sides together. And you're going to leave this open for your thumb hole. Now you can use any joining method you want. If you want to sew it, that's fine. If you want to join it with some crochet stitches, you can do that too. I'm going to join with crochet stitches, and I'm just going to do single crochets. So again, fold it inside out like this, and I'm going to start at this corner, and I'm just going to insert my hook in this corner and in this very corner right here. And I'm gonna grab my yarn that I just prepared with a slip knot at the end, and I'm gonna grab that slip knot and pull it through. Okay, so after I've pulled my yarn through the corner there, just chain up one, just like that. And then there's no exact stitch places here, but what you're just going to do is just place a single crochet into the stitches until you get to your stitch marker. Again, there's not going to be an exact space for you to put your stitch in, so just try to get as close to the edge as possible and make sure that your gaps between your stitches are not too wide so there's no holes in our mitt or our glove. So just single crochets, and I'm almost at my stitch marker here. I'm probably just going to place one more. Just like that. And then now I'm just going to remove this so it's not in my way. Maybe I'll place one more. Just like that. So now I can just chain up one and cut off that yarn. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on this side and join these two pieces together. And so now you can flip this back inside out. So now you can see it's almost put together. We made our space for our little thumb, and I made this for my left hand, so let's check it out. And it fits me perfectly, so it's nice and comfy. And so now we are going to make the cuff. Okay, so to make the cuff, you want to make sure you make it on the right side of whatever hand you're working on, because if this was for the right hand, I would make the cuff on this side, but since this is for my left hand, I'm going to make it on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my yarn and again prep it with a slip knot at the end. Okay, and then I'm working the cuff on this side, and I'm just going to go into a corner here and I'm going to find a stitch, and what I'm going to do is insert into that stitch, pull my yarn through, and then I'm going to chain up, 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so after chaining up 10, you are going to make your way back down that chain with single crochets. So into the second chain from your hook, just place a single crochet into each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're going to end up with 9, because if I started with a chain of 10, I use that last chain as a turning chain, so it's always going to be one less. I also forgot to mention that you do not need to chain 10 if you don't want to. You can make the cuff portion as long or as short as you want it. I'm just going to teach you how to put it together. So after you make your way to the very last chain like that, you're going to find the next stitch and you're going to single crochet into that, and then another stitch and single crochet into that, and then one more stitch and single crochet. So you are going to crochet 3 times into the base of our mitt, and after that you're going to flip your work like this so you can make your way up this chain again, and you're going to skip those 3 chains you made, so make sure you count 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you're not putting anything in those 3, and starting into that 4th one, you are just going to place a single crochet in the back loops. So working only in the back loops, place a single crochet. A little trick I like to do is when I reach the very last chain to go into, I actually just go into both loops just to make it more secure. So you don't have to do a back loop on that very last one. You can just go into both loops for that. Okay, so now you're going to chain up one again, and you're going to flip, and again you're going to make your way back down this cuff. So into this very first chain here, again I'm at the edge, so I'm going to go into both loops, but for everything else I'm just going to work into the back loops and place a single crochet into every single one. One more. There you go. So now that I've made my way back to the mitt, again I'm going to slip stitch into the base 3 times. So take note of where you placed your last slip stitch. So it's right here. So you're going to go into the next available stitch and slip stitch 1 into the next one, 2, and into the third one, for a total of 3 stitches into the base. So now when you flip your work around, make sure you skip those 3 stitches and you start your first back loop single crochet into the 4th one. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, and into this 4th one, begin with my back loops. So this is the pattern for the mitts, for the cuff portion of the mitt, and you're just basically just gonna keep going up and down this chain length with your back loop single crochets, and every time you reach the base of the mitt you're gonna slip stitch 3 times into that. So again, look, I'm at the border here, so I'm just gonna work into both loops. Let's do it one more time. Let's chain up 1 into the border, always go into both loops, and then just work a back loop single all the way back to the base of the mitt. So it's very simple, and you're just going to keep going all the way around until you have every single stitch completed. So now that I'm back to my base here, what I'm going to do again is just slip stitch 3 times into the base. So here's where my last slip stitch was, so I'm going to start here, slip stitch 1, 2, and 3, and then you would just flip your work and continue the mitt, and you're just going to keep going all the way around. And once you've made your way all the way around, I'm going to show you how to join both sides of the cuff so everything is nice and closed like our other mitt. So I made my way all the way around with my ribbing, and when I got close to the end here, I only had 2 spaces to slip stitch into, so I actually just slip stitch into those last 2, and then I chained up 1 and cut off the yarn. So now we're going to put these 2 cuffs together. So we're going to turn this piece inside out again, and we're just going to start from this corner, and we're just going to seam this all the way up, and you can join it however you want, but I'm just going to use the single crochet method again. So I'm going to prepare the yarn with a slip knot, and then I'm going to find the corner right here, and then I'm going to insert into the other corner over here. I'm going to grab my yarn, pull it through. I'm going to chain up 1. Now you're just going to place a single crochet into every single stitch, making sure to grab the front and the back stitch. And then here you can see the stitches very clearly, so you shouldn't be too confused on how to do this part. You're just going to single crochet into both the front stitches and then the back stitches as well. And you're just going to make your way all the way up until you reach the body of your mitt. And then once you're almost there, just make sure it's all closed up all the way to the body. And then you're just going to chain up 1, cut off the yarn, pull it through, and what you're going to want to do is just weave in all those ends. and then you can finally turn it inside out after you've weaved in those ends, and then you will have your 2 mitts just like this. So you can stretch them to fit your hand. There you go. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and if you decide to make it, please let me know what color you make it into and how much you like it. Also, let me know if you want to see more tutorials like this. And finally, don't forget, Ana Luisa is waiting for you to get your perfect gift up to 35% off. So don't wait, because you can score some really high quality, affordable pieces while you still can. Time's ticking, so make sure you snag that perfect jewelry gift for up to 35% off. Everything is in my description box below. I will see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.